Welcome to another episode of the Fixed Ops Mastermind podcast. Today, I am joined by Russell Hill, the co founder and managing partner of Fixed Ops Marketing. Welcome to the show, Russell.
Oh, I'm humbled, honored, and heart filled of gratitude that I might be able to share a little bit of my strength, some of my wisdom, etc.
I'm sure you will not disappoint. You never do. So we'll jump right in. So you've worn just about every hat in this business, and what about it has kept you hooked on automotive for all the years that you've been in it?
Well, that's a double edged sword. It's the people and the opportunity. It's the opportunity that, regardless of who you are, your background doesn't make any difference. If you have the drive, the tenacity, and you have the perseverance, uh, and you find your own lane, you can make anything happen. You can make all your dreams come true.
That's so true.
It is. You can write your own ticket.
It's so true. Being a kid that didn't go to college, this business has been all I've known, and I think we've done pretty well. My kids get everything that they want, and we've lived a good life with more to come.
It does provide that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. So your story, I've been lucky enough to see you a lot on Fixed Ops Mastermind and other places. So being able to learn who you are more, you've had some big personal challenges and have overcome them and use them to your advantage. What's shaped the way that you connect with people in the industry through those personal challenges?
Well, I think that there's two important dates in my life, and that was the day I was born, and then the day I figured out why. And what I mean by that is, so I struggled with drug and alcohol dependency for a long, long time, and I paid some heavy prices for it as well. And uh, I was in the grips of hell in one particular moment, and this was essentially December 1st, 1994. And I had a very, I'm not a religious guy, but I'm a very spiritual guy. And I had a knife in my hand, and I was ready to end it all. And I had done so much drugs and drank so much. I think it maybe even had a stroke or a heart attack, or I don't know. It was bad. And I grew up in upper middle class, mom and dad, church, all that stuff. And so I've always believed that there was a God, but I never knew what it meant to have a relationship with Him, which is an important part of my life, or the force, the power, whatever you want to call it. And so I dropped to my knees and I said a prayer. And in that moment, I had what's called a burning bush moment for me. I wasn't high or drunk anymore. And for the first time in my entire life, I ceased a total surrender. I ceased fighting everyone and everything. I took ownership for everything that happened and that happened in my life up until that moment. And I quit fighting everybody and blaming everybody and took ownership of that. And that set me on a tremendous trajectory. And I ended up, I was in Dallas at the time, and I called my father. Mother, and father completely disowned me. Wouldn't answer my phone calls. But I reached out to my dad, and he picked up the phone. And that was probably the first time in 3 years that had happened. I mean, it was really bad. And anything that wasn't nailed down, or anybody I could manipulate to get what I wanted, that's what I would do. And if I couldn't get it, I'd steal it. So, but my dad answered the phone, and he came and picked me up and dropped me off in Sherman, Texas, where I'm still at today, and gave me enough money for food and a hotel for 3 nights, and that was it. And I'm fixing to celebrate 31 years clean and sober.
Amen. Uh,
Yep.
just that story resonates with me. I'm thankful that I haven't been completely bit by that the alcoholism and drug piece, but I've definitely experienced it throughout my family. And my dad, who was one of my best friends, other than my wife, um, similar story, right? He was going down that road, and he now is. I think Halloween is 35 years.
Wow.
It resonates with me, and it proves that when you hit that bottom, you can get back up.
Yep.
My hat's off to you. And
Thank you. That was the worst day and the best day of my life simultaneously.
absolutely,
And I have no regrets. You know, some one time on a show, somebody asked me, Russell, if you could go back and tell your 18-year-old self something to offset, some of the pitfalls that you experienced in your journey, what would that be? Well, first of all, when I was 8, I wouldn't listen to you, so it
right.
wouldn't make any damn difference what you said to me. I had to go through what I had to go through, and I'm grateful for that because it has helped shape me to be the father, the son, the grandfather, and the husband and the friend that I am today.
And somebody that a lot of us in this industry look up to and appreciate, and man, I don't even know how to follow that up any further. So, but um,
Right.
um, I appreciate every time that we get to spend time together. I know that. But so looking back, who is someone that changed the way that you lead and you collaborate, and how do you keep that ripple and pay it forward today for the folks that need it?
Well, I would say that there's really three. The first one is a gentleman by the name of Mike Biggers, who was my sales manager in 1985 when I first started selling automobiles. That would be the first one. Thank you, Mike. I still communicate with him rarely, but still communicate with him. The second one is a gentleman by the name of D Murphy, who was my sponsor. When I first moved up to Sherman and got into the program, I went to a 90-day treatment facility, but we went to AA meetings every night, NA meetings, whatever. It never worked before. I tried that, I don't know how many times. And then the third one, I won't say his last name. His name is Roger. He had a really profound impact on me because um, uh, I was involved. I was a sales manager. No, 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 no. That was before. No, I was GM of a Chrysler Plymouth Jeep store at the time, and this was in 1999, I believe, when that happened. Anyway, I was involved in some other things outside of the car business, and I met this guy, multi millionaire, attorney, networker. I mean, just a go getter, man. And every time you walked into the room, it's like, man, you just felt this energy, right? And so I asked him one day to take me, if I could take him to lunch, and he said yes. And the purpose of that was I wanted to tap in. Before, I probably wouldn't have ever reached out to somebody like that. I felt like they wouldn't talk to me, etc. But he did, and we sat down, we had lunch, broke bread. It was great, and I asked him to tell me his story. But really, what I wanted to find out, did his insides match his outsides? And they, in fact, did. And I asked him, you've heard those things like when the student's ready, the teacher will appear, when the teacher's ready, the student will appear, etc.
Hmm.
So I asked him if he would mentor me and lead me. Um, and he said yes. But then he also said, and a lot of people have heard this, but it's okay because some people never have and they hear it for the first time, right? He said, Russell, are you willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do so you can have and become the things that most people will never have or never become? And I said, yes. And he said, listen, um, I'm going to make some suggestions. I'll meet with you once a month and you can call me. But the suggestions I'm going to make, I want you to keep one thing in mind. What you have doesn't interest me. Okay. What I have is what you want. So there's no games, there's no agenda, there's nothing in this for me except helping somebody who appears to be ready to go to the next level. But I'm going to get you so far outside of your comfort zone that you might not want to continue on. But if you do, I promise you, within a year, your life will transform and send you on a trajectory that you could only fathom. And one of the first things he did is he gave me a book on how to win friends and influence people by Dale Carnegie. And my instructions were to read 15 minutes a day. Don't finish the sentence, the paragraph, the page. Stop. And I didn't realize about discipline at the time, what he meant by that. And I said, yeah, I can do that. He said, 15 minutes a day. Uh, most people don't even do that, Russell. But let's start there. And he worked with me for quite some time, and it wasn't even a year; it was 6 months, and my life completely transformed. He's probably had the single largest impact from a professional and business and success and chasing my dreams and staying outside of your comfort zone because it's a real dangerous place for me.
Wow. Um,
Thank you.
it's and if you've told the story a million times, a million one has to happen because anybody that gets to hear it can be excited about the opportunity that comes up at the right time. They say that the right things happen to the right people at the right time, and
Yes.
that was it for you for sure. So, kind of leads me into the next question, which was, I think both of us believe that no one wins alone in the business. How have you seen dealers and vendors working together to be their best?
Well, boy, that's a loaded question. Okay, so there's stages we go through in life, and where I see dealers work the best is when they reach this particular stage that I'm going to mention. But I want to talk about the first stage, and that's when we're born. We're dependent for everything on our parents. There are gods. There are, I mean, everything. Well, then, we start reaching about 2 to 3 years old and we start to exercise independence. I can do this. I got this. I don't need any help, right? Most people literally don't get out of that realm. But the part of the evolution of a human, I believe, is interdependence, where it's, hey, I can't do this by myself, Kyle, but you and I together can accomplish so much more as a
Hmm.
team. And dealerships that are really successful practice interdependence and realize that they can't do it by themselves, and it takes a team.
Yes, I, I definitely agree. I know that the vendor partners that I put in play with me are people that want to make sure that we are all winning together. And,
Yes.
I think that it's really, really important, especially on the fixed op side, because, marketing and the operation side, like they feel like separate worlds a lot of times. Right. So,
Yes.
it's definitely one of my weaker sides is the marketing piece because it's either been done for me or the manufacturers told me how they want it done, or the best I can come up with is doing it on demand or something like that. How do you think that we can bridge the gap so that fixed and variable and or the whole store is marketing together, so that we all row in the same direction and pass that same message?
That's a great question. Well, first of all, we're all on the same team. That interdependence really helps. I really believe that the speed of the pack is set by the leader. I firmly believe that. And listen, I spend probably 4, sometimes 5 hours a day on top of running a company in other rooms, whether it be all things car biz, all things used cars, all things fixed operations, lethal set. It goes fixed ops mastermind. It goes on and on and on. And I, a lot of people are talking about the same things, Kyle, that I heard and was talking about in 1985. The challenges that we face
Hmm.
and dealing with people. They'll say a lot of the right things, but are they, as I mentioned earlier, are you willing to do the things, right? And most people really aren't. And I kind of think of, everybody, I think of it like this: 95 percenters and 5 percenters. And what I mean by that is 95% of the population is getting their information from the same 95% of the population that has what they have or less than what they have, and they wonder why the hell they don't have anymore.
Right.
And so to make significant change, because patterns are set really early, and most people don't change, not really, uh, most, but there are some that will step way outside and realize what it takes to really affect that type of change. When you've been doing something for 30 or 40 years, just making a decision one day without knowing what to do or how to get there, unfortunately, the greatest predictor of future behavior is previous
Previous
behavior.
behavior.
Yeah. And so it's really important that the leader gets every does the best they can. And in the rooms that you and I are in, that's the cream of the crop. Those rooms that I'm in, I show up because I learn, I absorb, even to this day, because I realize, and I want everybody to really take note of this: the significant problems and challenges that you and I face today can't be solved at the same level of thinking used to create them. Something has to change.
Yeah.
Well, how do I do that? It's not rocket science. There's only three things. So if you're listening, write this down, or if you're recording it, or whatever the case may be. So only three things are going to dictate a different tomorrow: what you read, what you listen to, and who you associate with. New input will dictate new output,
Yeah.
but you can't wait until tomorrow or next week. It starts right now, today. New input dictates new output. If not, everything, Kyle, that you and I and all of you out there have ever seen, heard, read, or done up until this very moment is our default. Unless we input new, that's the definition of insanity, right? Keep
Yeah.
doing the same thing, expecting different
Different
results.
results.
You have to input new. Whatever it is that you're after, I'm going to tell you to dream big, okay? Because all my life, people said, Russell, you can't do that. I tried that. That won't work. And they got interrupted by somebody who just did.
Yeah. Man, that's every time I talk to you, I just get more and more fired up.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's so right. And one of the things that I had talked to Dave about prior to him, and asking me, or kind of forcing me into becoming the new host of the podcast.
Right.
One of the things that I saw was you have all these different great minds that are doing different things, right? But they're all doing this a similar thing.
Yes.
And so my thought is, let's get them all together. So let's get a bunch of us together. Let's have a panel, join the shows together, and the more we all incorporate together with the same ideas,
I like that.
then the better off we're going to be. Because yeah, there could be different philosophies, there could be different ways of getting to the final product, but what if we all work together to find the best way? Because who wins at that point? Every single person that we're responsible for, from an employee standpoint, their families, their families, their families, but
Exactly.
more importantly, every customer that we strive to get into our buildings every day are the ones that reap the biggest benefits if we all just work together. um,
Absolutely.
so
There's one very important ingredient, and we would probably get to it. I don't know, but my ADHD type A mind works kind of weird. So I had an opportunity to develop a relationship with Zig Ziglar and lead a devotional. I was invited to lead a devotional with him there and his staff in Dallas. Uh, and I ascribe to the Zig Ziglar philosophy: if you help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. You see, the main ingredient that has evolved my life as a human being is understanding that what I have is in direct proportion to what I give. So it's important to elevate people along the way and try to pull them up if that's what they want. If not, love them where they're at and move on down the road. Maybe you plant a seed, but if you, it's important for someone to have a particular balance, I believe, and you can only achieve that by helping other people win along the way.
yeah, I agree 100%. So, I mean, my question was, what was one example where you've seen a store really turn things around, and it was because the right people are on the same page? Maybe that's the story you just told.
Well, it is, but it's not. So there's several examples. The one that just popped into my mind is a gentleman that I've gotten to know and getting to know more, and he's also a client of mine as well. But that philosophy we were just talking about is Patrick Abad at Beaver Toyota Mazda. That guy is it's really amazing when you're interacting with him. The guy is nonstop, so busy. And I met him a long, long time ago when he was with Van Tile before they got bought out by Berkshire Hathaway with my first company, which is a CRM company. But he's the kind of guy, when you're talking to him, brother, you have his attention. It's all yours because there's so many distractions. Getting a hold of him can be really tough. But as far as a nucleus, a team, a following, hand raisers that will lay down and get run over before he gets hurt. I've been to his store and I've met a lot of those people, and that's his culture.
That's awesome. I've heard a lot about that story and him specifically. Unfortunately, maybe you got another guy I have to try and get on the show.
Right?
we'll get
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll get
There's
that story. Kind of switching gears just a little bit. Tech is something that I've gotten pretty heavily involved in. So and it's moving so quickly. But it's only as good as the people that are using the tech and how they're getting their team to use it as well. What is your take on blending new tools with the human touch that'll keep guests coming back into the building?
so last night on the mastermind, Michael Peterson was talking about AI, and you remember last
Yep,
night?
I do.
Yeah. So um, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but 100 years ago, the amount of people that were in the farming community in the United States was astronomically high. Okay. Today it's only 2%, and we produce more than we did back then. Now, that took 100 years to get there. And, people had to evolve and they learned other, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, he also talked about AI from the top down instead of from the bottom up, which that one was. And in the next 5 years, we're going to move as fast as we did the last 100,
Hmm.
except it's going to happen in the next 5 years.
Yep.
So we need to embrace, there's a lot of change coming. Some people will lose their jobs. I heard it said that a third will lose their jobs, a third, well, I can't remember the stats, etc. I got lost on it, but most people's jobs will not go away, but their job description and how they do their jobs will be different with robotics and artificial intelligence.
Absolutely.
And we have to keep in mind there was, Chat GPT, et cetera, is only like 3 years old. It's amazing. And I can't even fathom, but the microprocessors are 100,000 times faster than the human brain. It's staggering. And there's some things that people get really scared about. I mean, you may not know this, but a lot of people listening might, maybe you do. Do you remember a cartoon called The Jetsons?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they actually have if you look at the Jetsons one on YouTube, you'll see that there's flying vehicles just like you saw in the Jetsons. And then there's the robots, and all that kind of stuff. So it's coming now, but there's a lot of things that can be really scary. Yeah. Good people are going to do good things, and bad people, unfortunately, are going to do bad things. That's just, or whatever it is. It's
Yeah.
almost like
Yeah.
somebody winning the lottery. What they're doing up until that moment when that big influx of cash comes, all does is accelerate all those bad habits. So, and most of them are stir crazy. And where I'm going with that is keep in mind there's always a human side to AI. But 2.5 years ago, or last year, and it's like I was on this show that Wendy Reeves started called The Human Side of AI, and a lot of really influential people in there. And I learned a lot of great stuff. One of them was April Simmons. From the dealer's perspective, dealers were signing up left and right for anything that said AI. but they weren't looking at it as a supplement to what they were doing. They were looking at it
To
as to
replace.
do something that they didn't want to do,
Mhm.
and not only that, but nothing communicated with anything else. So you went from what I call ADD, another damn dashboard.
Yeah,
So you went from two or three screens to five or six or whatever. Anyway, those people were signing up and canceling just as fast. And I think there's been a little leveling in the field. People are starting to really grasp and understand that. Let me make sure I understood. Ask me that. I think I got off track about. So technology is going to be crucial. And I think one of the biggest areas that's going to benefit the most is fixed
I
operations,
agree.
from merchandising, distribution, marketing, timely communication with our clients. Uh, and the reason I say they're probably going to benefit the most is because they are lacking the most when it comes to what matched against the variable side and what they have. So I think that's going to be a huge play, and that's going to affect the variable side too. Because listen, in 1985, the average person sold 10 cars when I started selling cars. In 2025, it's like 9.7. I mean, we have all this amazing technology, but it's being used for the wrong purposes.
Yeah,
And I really believe this thing here. It's coming fat. Data is extremely important. Marketing with the right content, with the right information at the right time, and engaging customers in a way hell that they want to be engaged.
right.
I don't care if they're 18 years old or 80 years old. And unfortunately, on the website and the marketing, I don't, that's a whole nother topic on advertising and marketing, and whoever in the company is doing it for fixed operations because they're not really doing it the right way.
Or
Anyway,
or at all. Or at all.
well, that too, yeah, exactly.
But you're 100% right. What keeps the guests coming back is us having the proper data with the proper message at the proper time, and and going back to the Fixed Ops Mastermind last night. you know, it is happening so damn fast. Just I mean, I've been involved in AI now, probably going on 10, 11 months, maybe 12, maybe 12
Mhm.
months.
Sure.
And it's changed dramatically since day one when I learned anything about it. But you're right, the fixed side is going to be at a huge advantage. And honestly, if the stores that have been hemmed in, not being able to get work done, and having cars that have been sitting there for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, depending on what it is, they're going to be the ones, if they put it in play the right way, as I think the tech grows,
Hmm.
our efficiency goes through the roof. I mean,
Yeah.
here before long, we're going to know what's wrong with the car. We're going to order the part in advance. The customer's going to come in. We're going to diagnose it, confirm the repair, fix it all in the same day. And
That's right.
I'm not going to have to tell you that it's going to be 3 weeks because I know what's going on. So, there's definitely a way for us to improve,
Absolutely.
and the
And,
marketing.
and
Marketing, you're absolutely right. It's going to be a blessing where we finally are going to understand it more.
I think things really are going to start evolving fast. We've had the same challenges on the fixed side as they have on the variable side, and that is that NADA says there's 16 independents that surround every franchise dealer. That's staggering. We've lost billions of dollars, and it's really dramatically affected our repeat, our referral, and our retention.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of reasons why. But you know what? We're starting to figure that out as a community,
I agree.
and we're going to embrace. And the AI and the other tools that are going to be available are going to supplement the things that we don't have time for and take us away from the most important thing, and that's our guests,
Yep,
our customers. They're the most important thing, is to be customer centric.
absolutely. I agree. So I guess if you were to be able to wave a magic wand and get every dealer group, vendor, and OEM to commit to one shared improvement in fixed ops, what would it be?
Well, I got this idea, and it wasn't mine. There's not really too many original ideas, but whoever, if it's an automotive group, a single point, etc., if you could bring everybody in your case, Kyle, that you have a partnership with in anything that affects your fixed operations, that there needs to be at least once a year, if not once every 6 months, there needs to be a collaborative effort where everybody shows up and spends a half a day or a day, because all the vendors want is to make you happy, Kyle, and to provide you with what you need so you can do your job more efficiently. So there's a lot of things that if everybody got together, and I'm talking about someone from, one of your technicians, advisors, you, a sales service manager, whatever. But if all the vendors can get in one place and everybody can listen to what everybody else is saying and be able to communicate and coordinate with some of the other vendors, because they all want the same thing, and it's about being customer centric, and in this case you would be the customer. So it'd be important you could hear the feedback and what's going on, and it would provide a tremendous amount of efficiencies, I believe.
Amen. That's a heck of an answer, as you're just on fire. So I know we talked about 5 years from now, but let's talk about 10 years from now. So 10 years from now, what do you hope to look back on and say, man, we finally nailed this as an industry. We've finally got this thing figured out, and what a difference.
It's happening right now as we speak. I really believe that there is a huge paradigm shift. And that's not just because I grew up on the variable side, but I believe there's a huge paradigm shift. And what I mean by that, that has several, maybe I've heard different, but it's rules and regulations that establish the boundaries that we live by today. So unfortunately, part of what's going on means that we're going to have to get outside of our comfort zone, and we're going to have to be open and make some changes. And you heard what I said earlier about the 95 and the 5 percenters.
Yes.
Unfortunately, people resist change. They just do. There's only the only person or persons that really love change is a crying baby. Beyond that, nobody else really enjoys change, but they want to be changed really quick,
Yeah.
And a lot of that is going to be so. Even the mentality of the leadership today is changing. Now, I may be a little biased because I'm in the rooms with the 5 percenters, but when I'm out there in the market, I see we need to adapt. For the first time in history, we have 4 generations working in automotive of the same, 4 different generations at one time in this business. And the way it used to be is not the way it is now. And I don't know if I got it. Oh, so in 10 years, we'll look back and say, you know what? I was a part of that revolution,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's going to happen.
It's exciting. Yeah, I mean,
It is.
where we're heading, and where we can go if everybody's on board working it together.
Absolutely,
It's
man.
amazing. So I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you a question that I don't think I know the answer to for myself, which is, if you weren't in the automotive industry, what what would you be doing?
Public speaking.
Well, you do that now.
Right. But I would be, so I still, even at almost 31 years now, I still go to meetings. I
Hmm.
still sponsor people. I took a crack one time with a crack at a doctor with a doctor friend of mine opening a sober living community, one for men and one for women, 18 to 26 years old. But it wasn't one of the traditional 30, 60, or 90-day programs. It was a year to a year and a half,
Wow.
because it takes a long time. And as a matter of fact, my sponsor, when I first got into the program, he was pretty brutal on me. He said, Russell, there's only one thing that you have to change. Only one thing. And I said, oh, D, wow, that's great. What is that one thing? Everything. Everything. You have to change everything. And it takes time, because you have this such a, the problem I realized then was not even the drugs and alcohol, because I started so early. The problem was the way I thought, and I didn't have any tools. This is the most dangerous place that most people could live, right here. And when you realize that and you know what to do to offset that, unfortunately, it takes time, it takes commitment and tenacity and perseverance. But if you really want to make effective change, and there's something particular you want in life, Even when I read that book, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, I've absorbed so many, Napoleon Hill and Ogden. It goes on and on and on. They all say the same thing in different ways, and we pick up on different things. But to affect any kind of change, it starts right here, the head and the heart. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes consistent work every single day. But the next thing you know, you look back and go, wow, what a journey. What a journey. So storytelling, because I would like to, as a matter of fact, there's, writing a book right now with my chief marketing officer, Charity, and we're just about finished. It's 2.5 years in the making. And I think it's going to be a fascinating read, not only for automotive and overcoming obstacles, but realizing, hey, if if I did it or you did it, and they know the trials, I think we all have crossroads, most of us, where we overcame really substantial things. And I still deal with some things today. But the two biggest things for me that are dangerous are secrets and resentments. Those are the two biggest things that cause people in sobriety to go back out over and over and over again. They don't get it. You have to deal with the crap in your life and try to figure out where it came from so you can set yourself on a different trajectory. And you have to read and you have to listen and you got to quit listening to all that negative crap.
Wow.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Yes, yes, it did. It did. And I think just like you are here, you'd be perfect there. So, um,
Thank you
you
very
know,
much.
so I guess if you could learn one skill instantly, I guess outside of automotive, and I guess I'm going to put you on the spot and say public speaking,
Mhm.
what skill would you instantly like to learn?
Opening people's eyes. If I could learn that one skill and I could do it really quick to help them see what's really possible in their life, it would be opening people's eyes to understanding you're your own worst enemy. Get the hell out of the way and open your eyes to what's possible. Because do you remember, and all of you out there in Utah, when you were in like junior high or high school or whatever. I mean, you're cutting it up with your friends. You have these big, lofty dreams, think you're going to go out and conquer the world, and you're not going to do this, but you're going to do that. And then you go to college, and then you start trading your time for money because they still teach the same things today in school. Go to school, get good grades, so you can go to a good college. And unfortunately, most of them come out heavily debt laden. 92% of them don't even work in the chosen field they got the degree in. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
that's another story. But what I mean by that is when people start trading their time for money, they get bought. Then they have families and credit cards. They don't even understand money, and they get into debt and don't really understand that. And the older people get, those dreams are still there.
Hmm.
Those things that lit you up and excited you are still there. But what I found over the years, particularly with older people, when they're ready and you try to find out what their dreams were, um, they're reluctant, and some of them are really get emotional when they start tapping in to those dreams because people told them you can't do that. I tried that. That doesn't work. You got a family. You got a job. You got a car payment. Well, they do work, and yes, you can.
Love it. So, one superpower in automotive where you can change the dynamic. So, one superpower in automotive, what is it? What would you want it to be?
Man, one superpower. Gosh, one superpower. Man, man, that's a tough one. Um, one superpower. Man, Kyle, that's a good one, brother.
For me,
Woo!
I think you're if I think you already have it. You have the ability to engage people in your story, and
Thank you.
and you have the ability to bring people together to make us all go in the right direction, and that I think is a superpower in itself. I think what you've given, to me in the short time that we've known each other, and the personal touch and the trials and tribulations to get to an accomplishment that of where you are. Writing a book that I'm the first one on the list ready to buy it right now. So as soon as it's ready, I want it.
Thank you.
I think that's the superpower, is to be able to wear all the hats that you've worn in this career, worn in this career, and continue every day to get up with the energy and the fire to make everybody around you better. Man, that's a superpower, and in my opinion, you're blessed with it. So,
Well, thank you. It's been a real pleasure, getting to know you over the last few months in Mastermind. Uh, and, everybody in that room really thinks alike. They really do. They just want the best. I want the best, but I want to show up and be available. And I'm struggling right now with balance because of the dream I'm chasing. This is my third company, and this one is really the rainmaker. But I'm at a level that I've never been at before, and you know, um, I really have to focus in on some of the tools that I have about acceptance is the key. Let go and let God. I think that part of my success, or all of my success, is actually attributed to one thing: is that I have a tremendous spiritual grounding in my life, and I think that's real important. And whether somebody knows what that is or not, if you just believe that there's something greater than you out there, it's like a mustard seed. That's all you need to get started. But that has had a profound impact, and I think the most powerful tool in my arsenal today is the power of prayer. But I even think, which is another maybe another conversation, but even prayer, I think people, it's like, God, why me? I mean, there's our job is to show up every day and create. That's what we're supposed to do. And we're supposed to help people along the way. I really believe that's an important part because in the end, when I'm in, hopefully in my own home, if when I pass away, I don't want to be looking back saying I wish I would have spent more time at work. And so one of the things I'm balancing right now is that I just bought a piece of property that my wife and I, after I'm 66 years old, that we're going to build our dream home. And my wife is a rock, man. I mean, she believes and encourages me in a way that I need, and I think all of us really do. So we bought this piece of property. We told our kids. So all three of our kids and all four of our grandkids live within 9.5 minutes of us. We're in each other's lives all the time. When I'm not doing this or that, then I'm going to meetings or helping somebody in recovery and the best I can. But we bought this property to build our dream home. It was 12 acres. Beautiful, beautiful. All three of our kids want to sell their homes and build on that property.
that's amazing.
And I mean, man, that's what that is like the apex, the pinnacle, the cherry on top for
Yeah,
me as I start to unwind. I don't know if I can ever quit working, but at this level and the things I'm learning right now is tremendous. And some of those I learned something from everybody. And you're an amazing guy, Kyle. The things I hear you say and how you want to help other people, and you want people that are trying to get in your way just to get out of your way and let you institute and implement and realize the things that you want to accomplish based upon how I know you right now. Um, you're getting there or you're already there. I know sometimes, GMs and stuff like that, they'll get in your way, but you just stay in your own lane, run your own race. When it's time to push back, you push back. and you seem to be the kind of guy that pushes back when it's appropriate, but in a loving, understanding way instead of some condescending, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
absolutely. And thank you for the kind words. It's greatly appreciated. Man, I know we could go for hours and hours and hours, but I want to thank you again for taking the time with me and telling your story again. I tell you, it's never going to get old on me. I think every single time I pick up another piece that I need to use in my own arsenal, and that's what it's all about. Us getting together so that we can be great together. And
Yes.
again, Russell Hill from Fixed Ops Marketing. I appreciate your time, and I hope to do this again very, very soon.
I do too. And I'd like to end with this. If nobody told you that you were greatly appreciated and that they loved you, I just told you that. So thank you. I'm humbled, honored, and grateful to have the time to engage with you and the audience, or whoever is going to be absorbing this. So thank you all.
Thank you, and I love you too, by the
Okay.
way.
All right. Thank you very much.